I couldn't help also but thinking that the Red Wings this year, very much like Detroit and the state of Michigan, people counted us out, but I think when the smoke settles, we'll all be standing tall and strong as we go forward to the playoffs and economic times get better here in the state of Michigan. So with that, we'll go down the road together and pull together as we've shown here today in the first half an hour, and do it strongly and arm in arm, and we will succeed, believe me. I'm going to introduce now our first speaker, who has had a challenging year from collective bargaining agreements and whether the salary cap stays, goes up or goes down, and managing all of that. Red Wings General Manager Ken Holland.
Thanks, Mickey. First off, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Tremendous turnout. We had a tremendous turnout last year, and again, tremendous turnout this year. It's an honor to be here watching the video, the history of the Economic Club, and all the wonderful, great speakers and people have been here through the years. It's an honor for our organization to be asked to come every year. Just before we started, I was in the back room. Chris and I met some sponsors and some members, and we got to meet them for a brief hello, and everybody shakes everybody's hand that I shook, said good luck in the playoffs. We're not in yet, just so you know. Mike and I are nervous wrecks. So we've had a good run. If you look at the year, obviously we lost Game 7 to Pittsburgh a year ago, and very quickly we have 2 to 3 weeks to kind of start getting ready for the 09-010 season. We knew we had a lot of cap issues. We obviously lost 4 key people: Marian Hossa, Michael Samuelson, Yuri Hudler, Ty Conklin, and we felt that as we put, first off, the salary cap, the CBA is designed for parity. So what we faced last year, Pittsburgh faced the year before, Chicago's going to face it this offseason, Washington's turn is coming. It's hard to be an elite team and keep elite players and overabundance of elite players. And I think the hardest thing to keep in the cap world is lots and lots of scoring. And last year we led the league in goals with 290, and we lost about 100 goals. And as we looked at the season coming up, we felt that number one, internally, some of the players that we had on our roster that didn't score as much last year could score more this year. And at the same time, we have to probably save about 40 or 50 goals on the defensive side of the puck. And I think that we've done that. In 08-09, we were 20th in the league in goals against. And as we sit here today, we're 7th in the league in goals against. And in 08-09, when we were 25th in the league in penalty killing, today we're 10th in the league in penalty killing. And really, as we got into late October and early November, we were in the bottom 5 in the league in both those categories, goals against and penalty killing. So I thought our players and coaches have done a tremendous job, probably the last 50 games, in buckling down, and given the injuries and the people that we lost through November and December, we lost a lot of offense in the summertime, and we found ways to win hockey games. We found some players. As we went to training camp, we had a lot of players, and all this, we weren't sure where some of the guys fit in. We weren't sure we were going to keep everybody. And as we quickly got hit with injuries, some of those players got into the lineup, and they've done a tremendous job for us, and they've earned a spot. And again, I think we're deeper today than we were 60 games ago, and I think that that's been a real positive in this season. As we tomorrow night we play Edmonton. We haven't beaten Edmonton. Everybody thinks you're in. We play Edmonton tomorrow night. We haven't beat Edmonton this year. We've got 2 overtime. We've got 2 points out of the 3 games. They've got 6 points against us. We played Columbus 3 times in the last 7 games. Columbus just swept Chicago twice, beat them 8-3 in Columbus, beat them 4-2 yesterday in Chicago. So I think that's why Mike and I get nervous. In a parity league, in a cap world, when you win lots of games by a goal and you lose lots of games by a goal, if you're not emotionally and mentally dialed in as a team, I guess this is a message for our players. As I'm thinking about it, you can get your gas off the pedal in a hurry, and it's hard to find the gas pedal. I think to 2002, when and it wasn't a cap world, we had clinched the President's Trophy with about 10 games to go, and Scotty Bowman asked me my thoughts on what we should do with the last 10 games. Should we rest guys? Should we not? And he said, Scotty, in 1994, when we had clinched a spot, we went into Dallas for the last league game, and if we won the game, we were going to end up with more points than Pittsburgh, which meant if we met Pittsburgh in the finals, we were going to get home ice. So we played our entire team, and in that game, Primo, Yzerman, and Fedorov all got injured, and either were out for part of the playoff series or played the playoff series partly hurt. So I mentioned that to Scotty, so we decided, okay, we're going to rest some guys the first 4 or 5 games of the 10-game segment. We were going to play our team the last 4 games. We took our foot off the pill. I think we were 2 wins and 8 losses heading down the stretch. I don't think we won a game in our last 4. We started the playoffs against Vancouver. We lost games 1 and 2, and we were within a whisker. I remember flying in that plane to Vancouver in 2002. Landed in Vancouver. Some of the guys who are here would remember. We got on our bus, got off the plane, got on the bus about 2 o'clock in the morning. We're down 2 games to nothing to Vancouver. Jumped in the bus. We had about a 20-minute bus ride from the airport down to Vancouver, and a whole bunch of Vancouver Canuck fans, I say between the age of 18 and 22 or 23, all decked out in Canuck jerseys, painted their face with the Canucks. They had a whole bunch of rooms. They had their cars. They basically were on both sides of the bus. They were in front of the bus. They were behind the bus, and they were just mocking us the whole way. And I was sour sitting up at the front of the bus, and after about 10 minutes I thought to myself, if this doesn't motivate us, nothing will. We got off the bus at the hotel, and all those young Vancouver Canuck fans got there. They're waiting by the railing, and they were trash talking our players a little bit. Well, obviously we fought our game in Game 3, and we went on. The rest is history. But it's an example again whereby you got to be humming on all cylinders. And if you come off it just a little bit in this league, this sport, before you know it, you're out. A 7-game series happens so fast. And first off, we got to make it. Getting back, we've got to make it. So we got big 7 games to go here. Since the Olympic break, we have the best record in the league. I think we're 12-2-1. I think that's got to do, obviously we're healthy, but I also think it's got to do with our team has been focused. It's also got to do with a little bit of luck. I mean, we've all been watching. I mean, Christ, how many games can you win with 0.3 seconds to go? I mean, we did that 2 nights in a row. So, you know, one of the things I'm most proud of about this team is the character and the leadership of the guys in the locker room. It really started back in the mid-90s, and it's been the torch has been passed on. Nick Lidstrom now is the captain, an incredible role model and leader for our team. And our team shows up every night. And even when we lose games, you know, November, December, one of the first questions Mike will say to me when I go down to the coach's room when the game is over, did we play hard tonight? And we'll win or lose. You know, even when we win, did we play hard tonight? And most games I say to Mike, yeah, I thought we played hard tonight. There are the odd nights when you just don't have it over 82 games, but for the most part, I like the character, I like the leadership of our hockey team, and they get down the trenches and they compete every night. You know, I look at we got to play our way in, and I look at there's some role models for us out there in Edmonton in 2006. At the trade deadline, they were out of the playoffs. They traded their first pick for a goalie, Dwayne Rollison. They played their way into the playoffs. They beat us out in 2006, and they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. But with 20 games to go, they were outside the playoffs looking in. Last year, with 20 games to go, Anaheim was outside the playoffs looking in. They played their way in, and we feel, you know, we played them in Game 7 at home. It was an incredibly tough series, and I think the Anaheim series and the Chicago series, and looking back, took a lot out of us. We had a lot of injuries and maybe had a little bit of effect in Pittsburgh, but you know, the same token, Pittsburgh were tremendous champs and were deserving of taking home the Stanley Cup. But they got to Game 7 in round 2, and if they beat us in Game 7, they very easily could have been the Stanley Cup Finals. And Pittsburgh last year, obviously with 20 games to go, made a coaching change, and the rest is history.